And I'll look forward to answers from everyone who's there in the session right now. Okay, wonderful. 31 to 40. How about others? Only 4 or 5 responses. What do others think? By the way, you can change your answer as well. If you see someone else's response or you count again, you get less or you get more, feel free to change your response as many times as you want. Amazing, quite a few responses. So maximum range so far has been 31 to 40, 36 being the maximum vote. How about others?
Richa ma'am, once you conclude, we can start.
Sure, we can start anytime you want us to. You want to start? I'll conclude it once you make the introduction, then we will start.
Sure.
So go ahead, over to you. You want to start, and then we'll start with the session.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much for this little activity. I know the answer, but I didn't want it to prompt, so I'll just keep it as in secret. Let them all discuss, and then in the end of the session, you can ask the answer again, ma'am. Well, very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for joining on time. It's a wonderful time. I know evening हमेशा बहुत ज़्यादा busy रहता है, but thank you guys. Thank you for coming up here. And I would like to thank all the DSB family, the faculty members, students, and everybody who has joined right now. And I would like to give my honor, respect to our director, sir, Dr. Rajiv Thakur. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I know this is gonna be a wonderful evening because I've heard about Richa ma'am a lot and I have attended her sessions, and you guys will have a definitely wonderful time, guys. So we'll start this, and to proceed in further, I would like to ask Sejal from Daulat Ram College to give the introductory part of Professor Richa ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much, Rosie ma'am, for giving me the honor to introduce Ms. Richard. Good evening, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce this great guest speaker today, Ms. Richard. She is an executive coach and an international trainer for more than 14 years. Apart from this, she renders her selfless services to society as a lifetime coach. She is well known for her wonderful contributions and high achievements for the institution she is in charge of. She is working in connecting the young minds to strive towards success and achievement. We all are very grateful to have you here, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. As well, we are so excited to hear from you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sejal, for such kind words, and a very good evening to everyone. So first of all, thank you so much for everyone to participate in the activity. And I can see that while we were discussing and introducing the session, quite a few answers have come up. So Sachita has finally changed her answer from 42 to 40. She's like, no, that's not the correct one. Okay, so we will start with this activity first of all, and let me first share my screen. So without further ado, let's start with the session and let's start with the discussion we are all here for. So this is going to be, yes, it's a webinar. It's going to be an hour-long webinar, but feel free to ask your questions. It's going to be very interactive. We'll be doing a lot of activities. While we have asked you to mute yourself while I'm talking, but if you have a question, feel free to unmute or write in the chat. In case I missed something, Rosie, please let me know in case there's a question and I missed that.
Ma'am, I'm just there for you. Don't worry about
Sure,
it.
thank you. And let's start with the first activity here. You all counted the squares. So first of all, thank you so much for being there in the evening and participating so actively. And here's my question. How many of you know what a square looks like? Please raise your hand in case your camera is open, or give me a thumbs up in case your camera is not open. How many of you know what a square looks like? If I give you multiple shapes, you'll be able to identify it. That's a square. I know that, right? We love the confidence. Awesome. Great. So here is my question. Then why does everyone have a different answer? What do you guys think? We all know what a square looks like. This is a data-based question. All you have to do is count the number of squares. Why are the answers varying? Anyone can unmute and answer. What do you think? What do you think? Why are the answers different? Anyone can write in the chat or unmute and answer. Go ahead. Any idea, guys? Why are the answers different? Let me start with Tanya. Tanya, how about you? Why do you think the answers are different? See, I'm going to randomly call out names. We're going to talk a lot. So better you can, volunteer. Otherwise, I'm going to do a cold calling in between. So Tanya, from your perspective, why do you think answers are different? Anyone here? Okay, first question, should the answers be different? That's the first question. A yes with a thumbs up, a no with a thumbs down. Should the answers be different? Sure, Tanya, I got your message. So Hani writes, the squares are intermingled, so some people may miss certain squares in counting. Okay, Ayushi agrees with that. Okay, so intermingled, it's layers and layers and layers of squares. So you may miss one layer, you may count one layer, right? So do we all agree that it's a difference of perspective from what angle you're looking at it? How many layers you end up counting and how many layers you end up missing, right? Different perspectives and thought processes. Thank you, Pooja. Absolutely spot on. You've hit the nail on the head. So today we are going to talk about a very, very important aspect of any person who is about to graduate, has just started graduation, about to planning to get into, deciding the way forward primarily. You're out of school, you're building your career, you're deciding the way forward. What we really need to understand is, just like this activity, when we talk about industry, when we talk about corporate, when we talk about building a career outside of, getting outside of your educational institute and building a career, you need to understand exactly what is that the other side of the line or the industry expects out of a fresher. It doesn't matter which course you are from. There are certain very common basic set of qualities that they're looking for. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk about what has changed in the last 2 to 3 years. And we are going to talk about what does the future hold for you? What is in the process of changing? Because by the time you will graduate and move out, corporate will look very different from what it was in before March 2020. It looks very different what it was a couple of years before that. And it's going to look very different from what it is today. So today we're going to talk about those skills on that skill set which is in demand and which can build the career going forward. And towards the end, one of my colleagues will also talk about how can you build those skills, how can you move forward with those skills. So my dear friends, welcome to Industry 4.0. And my name is Richa. Sejal has given a beautiful introduction of mine, so I'll skip the rest of it. Thank you so much for that, Sejal. So let me start by saying I'm myself an alumni of an alumnus of Delhi University. I have done my master's in English literature from Hansraj College and arts faculty right across the road from Daulat Ram College. Been there a couple of times. We got a beautiful campus there. So let's start with our journey today to about Industry 4.0. What does it mean? But before that, I'm going to show you some data, right? So I understand if some of you are not able to unmute or not able to switch on your cameras, but please participate in the chat like you have been doing. And right, so that can also be done if you are unable to unmute yourself, right in the chat. I'll give you some time to respond, okay? So guys, there is some data on your screen. I hope all of you can see it. Can you give me a thumbs up if all of you can see that? Awesome. So it's from India Skills Reports 2020. It's as latest as it can get. Now, when you look at this data, and this is nothing else but the placement ratio, what has been the placement percentage course-wise from 2015 to 2021. Now, first question, good news or bad news? What does the data say to you? Irrespective of the course you are in. You could be in BSc, BCom, BA, MBA, MBE, BTech, it doesn't matter, right? What does the data say to you? Does it look like good news or bad news? We're talking about the employability percentage as per what the corporate thinks the freshers are ready to be inducted in the industry. I'll give you 20 seconds. Write your answers in the chat, or you can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It is reduced in 2021. Absolutely, Sarika. Bad news. She's like, okay, there's no good news in there, right? So across the courses. Now, one thing which you can see as a parity is that across the courses, the challenges are there. In some courses more, in some less. That doesn't matter. But what we need to understand is what is bringing about these challenges. While you are studying from some of the best colleges and best universities, but why is the gap there, right? So now I'm going to start with the first question here. And the first question, I'm going to put a link in the chat. I hope all of you are able to access it. And let me know if you are able to. You can access it from any device that you have. If you have a phone, if you have an laptop or tab, anything. And the state question is, according to you, what are the top 4 skills does the industry look for in new entrants? That's a very simple question, right? So when you will click on this link, it will take you to a particular form, and that form will I'll be sharing that on my screen. So whatever you will enter will appear on the form. Just give me a second, and this is the form that should appear on your screen. And in case anyone is facing any challenge with the link, you can see on my screen. Just a minute. Where is the pencil? Yeah, you can see on my screen here, menti.com. You can type that, and you can type this code 72235986. It will take you straight to this form from any device. I'll need all of you to write down top 4 skills. According to you, what are the top 4 skills does industry look for in new entrants? And I'll look forward for a response from everyone here. So according to you, what are the top 4 skills industry looks for in new entrants? Type in your responses and click on submit. The moment you click on submit, it appears on my screen. And I'll give you approximately a minute for that. Awesome. So we started to get responses here. Innovative, multitasking, practical knowledge, and consistency. Okay, specialized knowledge. Oh, I love the phrase specialized knowledge. We're going to talk about a concept called, T student and T professional, and we will talk about specialized knowledge. That's a very critical term you've used here. Communication skills, awesome. That's really spot on. Really the requirement of the time. Selling, teamwork, absolutely. Problem solving, time management, leadership skills, willingness. I love the phrase willingness. That's really powerful, and absolutely industry is looking for that. Management, public speaking, multitasking, okay, cooperation. So you will see some phrases will be bolder and bigger than the others. These are the phrases and words which most of you have typed so far, right? So communication, practical knowledge, time management are the 3 things which are coming out as the most common skills. Those people who have entered their responses so far believe that the industry is looking forward to. So I'll keep the form running for another 30 seconds. So I'll request everyone to please type in their responses. Okay, more responses coming in. Confidence, absolutely. Leadership, problem solving, awareness. Yes, that's a really nice one. Soft skills. So a lot of things that you've written here, we talk about consistency, awareness, teamwork, fast learner, multitasking, willingness, innovative. All of this falls in the category of soft skills, right? So that's awesome. That's there. So brilliant. So quite a few of you have written the words here, and these are spot on to a certain degree, right? More responses are coming in. As you can see, practical knowledge, confidence, communication, innovative. Now, I really like that the phrase innovative is catching up. More people are writing there. That's really important these days, and I guess for very obvious reasons. Time management again is pretty much there. Problem solving is catching up. Awesome. So I'm going to keep this form running in the back end. All of you can can keep typing your responses. And what you see here on the screen, I want you all to look at it very, very carefully. This is what, according to your understanding of corporate, your access to, maybe people you know personally, people you know professionally, your seniors, you've known or you've heard about it, right? Maybe by your faculty in your classrooms. These are the constant skills we are told again and again. And I'll not say that they are not important. They're definitely important. They do stand. But what I'll share with you today is what has changed and why is it changing, right? So these are by far the top 10 most desirable skill sets for new entrants, right? Absolutely top 10 most desirable skills. And this has been a consistent list for nearly last decade. For the near last decade, it has been a very consistent list. Let me tell you, problem solving, teamwork and collaboration, interpersonal communication. You'll see all these were there in your word cloud as well. Leadership, adaptability is something which was missing there. That, but I guess willingness, I'll take that as adaptability. Curiosity, emotional intelligence is something that has come up in the last one decade. Extremely important. Time management, creativity, empathy, and business ethics, right? So one good news is all of that has been in the industry for the last 10 years. You're pretty much on top of that. Now we're going to talk about what has happened in the last 2 years or last 3 years, if I may say. We are in 2022. The data that you saw didn't look very good, right? But unfortunately, employability has changed over the years. And as you will see, till 2019, there was an upward trend. It was increasing every year because, the list of 10 that we saw was consistent. But 2019 onwards, it has started going down. And here's my question. Why do you guys think what has changed that the employability, which was consistently increasing by, even though by a marginal degree, has started coming down? You can write your responses in the chat. Why do you all think what has changed since 2019 or 2020 that has brought the employability levels down? There are two very prominent reasons, but I'd like to see your responses in the chat. COVID. Okay, Jyoti, spot on. Maybe due to jobless growth. Sarika, when you say jobless and growth, these two are very, contradictory terms coming together. So I'd like to understand if you can type your response in the chat. What do you mean by jobless growth? Ayushi says due to COVID, some companies stopped working. Okay, Ayushi, I got your point. Some people are getting redundant because companies are shutting down. Work culture, Arohi says, absolutely. So see, companies shutting down will not bring the employability, right? When we talk about employability, we are talking about how ready are the new entrants to be in the industry, inducted and starting performing. When the corporate says employability, they're not talking about employment rate. Employment rate is what gets affected when companies shut down. Employability is what gets affected when, as a corporate, I go into a campus and I have a vacancy for 10 people, but I end up hiring only 2. Because out of the lot of 30 that applied, I found only 2 people who were employable. Now, this is where employability comes in. Digital knowledge, Ayushi spot on. Anshulika also said digital divide. Yes. So there are 2 things that have changed since 2020 in particular, which was COVID. But there is one change, drop in market share in stock markets. Okay, Sachita, that's a very, very, I'll say, very, painful nerve you have touched upon as far as the industry is concerned. But yes, that's an unfortunate reality. But the good fact is that the market is picking up and we're looking at more positive results going forward. So one change was March 2020 when COVID hit. Absolutely, Tanya, technological development. But the other change has been simmering for the last couple of years, but 2020 kind of gave it an uphill boost. That was the 4th industrial revolution, which we call Industry 4.0. Now, has anyone here heard of Industry 4.0? That's my first question. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. If you've heard, write a yes in the chat. If you haven't heard, write a no in the chat. If you've heard the phrase Industry 4.0, write yes. If you haven't heard, write no. Entrepreneur, that's a very interesting word, Ruchi, you've used, and we're going to be talking about when we talk about Industry 4.0 skills. That's a very, very important skills. Jobless growth means a situation when the economy is able to produce more goods and services without a proportionate increase in employment opportunities. Got your point, Sarika. Thank you. That's a very good lesson on economics for me. But unfortunately, that's not what we are talking about here. But yes, that's a very valid point that you've raised here. Okay, so most of you are saying that no, that's not something you've heard. So what I'm going to do is I will be playing a small video. And this video will introduce you to the concept of what is the 4th industrial revolution. A lot of you may have heard of it, but not in this sense. And after that, there are 2 questions I want you all to answer. Just a minute, there are 2 questions I want you all to answer. And these 2 questions are, please look at my screen. I'll play the video in just another 20 seconds. What do you understand by Industry 4.0? And what changes do you expect in the industry expectations in the coming future? So once I close the video, the response I want from everyone, and I look forward from everyone in the chat, will be what changes do you expect in the industry expectations in the coming future? Question number 2 is what I want, and I'm looking forward to your responses for. Okay, so give me a thumbs up for all those who are ready for the video. It'll just take a second for me to start the video. Okay, so a quick thumbs up from every. Awesome, great. So those who have not, I'll presume they're not interested. How about the others who have not yet done the thumbs up? A quick thumbs up. Awesome, great, great. So just a second, let me share the sound and the video. And I hope the video is clearly visible.
Industry 4.0, and what does it mean for you? Technology is driving change.
So just a quick question, Rosie, is it audible?
Ma'am, yes, the video is clear and you're very much audible.
Okay, great. So let me just restart the video. So remember, friends, 2 questions. What does Industry 4.0 mean? Understand that from the video. What I look forward for an answer in the chat, you can start typing while the video is on in case you get answers, is what are the change in the expectations of the industry that you expect? Okay, so let's start.
What is Industry 4.0, and what does it mean for you? Technology is driving change across all areas of society. Not only do we increasingly use it and even rely on it in our personal lives, we also find our workplaces digitally evolving, with more and more processes now being undertaken using technology. This change is known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 will see many tasks that were once performed by us now being automated. With the collection and analysis of real-time data, artificial intelligence, and the ability for all components of a production line to talk to each other, production can be really efficient and personalized according to customer needs. But what does this mean for us? With increased automation, our time will be freed up for concentrating on more complex tasks. We will need a workforce who are capable of building, programming, and developing these technologies, but also making sure we are applying them to our lives in an ethical way. There are core skills that we can offer that technology cannot replace. The human touch is going to be incredibly important, ensuring effective communication, problem solving, and supporting change management in this digital environment. There will also be a greater need for joint working across disciplines, creating new innovations. The future job market will be looking for graduates with an open mind to explore the unknown future possibilities. We will all need to develop our skills in order to embrace, adapt to this ever-changing environment. What will you do to make sure you are ready and have the right skills to thrive in the Fourth Industrial Revolution?
Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed the video, and here's my question. I'm going to give you 30 seconds right in the chat after watching this video. What are the core skills that you think are required for people to be in the, for what the industry will be expecting from you once you get into the placement zone? Technology. Ayushi, when you say technology, I'm talking about skill set. Right? We're talking about what do you require to have in you when you go there, because you are the one who's going to bring something to the table. Technical skill, awesome. Problem solving, technical, interpersonal skills, creativity, empathy, data analysis, creativity, efficiency. Ria, efficiency is a very important part. And if you would have said that in front of some corporate giant, they would have loved you for this. Yes, that's pretty much what's driving business and daily routine at work right now. Creativity we're talking about, yes. So these are some of the skills. Interpersonal communication, yes, that's great. Determination, issue says. Technologically sound interpersonal skills, communication, emotional intelligence. So I want you all to look at what you are seeing on the screen here in the chat box. And when you look at this in the chat box, ask yourself, What is it that you're noticing? What's different from what it was when I asked you the question the first time? When I asked you the question the first time, what are the skills that the corporate, four important skills for the corporate that they look for? Here's my question. When you look at the responses after this video in the chat, what has changed? Sachita, negotiation, awesome. I was really waiting for someone to put that across, and that's really interesting that you've done that. Right. So think about it in your mind. When you look at this list and you look at the word cloud we created about 10 minutes back, what's the difference that you will see? And this is the difference that the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, expects from you. And that's where comes the time and need for you to be prepared for the corporate. It cannot be that I have a qualification in certain domain and I'll just go and be the specialist in domain. What now they are looking for is transdisciplinary skills. It's not alone multitasking anymore. Friends, multitasking is definitely, I should be able to create my content, go and work and listen to someone. Multitasking is awesome to do, but what the corporates are now looking for, transdisciplinary skill. So if I'm an expert, let's say I'm a language expert, but just being a language expert will not work. Can I add to the team work? Can I add to a certain technological development? What else do I bring to the table besides my specialization? Knowledge and aptitude through adaptive and cognitive level. Design thinking. Design thinking is what Harvard gave to the world as the latest method of problem solving. I'll recommend everyone in this room to please go back after this training and study about design thinking. In fact, design thinking is something that MBA courses are now really focusing their course modules on, because this is the skill which companies are very, very openly looking for. So along with training the students, I'm also into corporate consulting, and design thinking is something we train and consult a lot of organization on. So this is something they're looking forward. This is the problem solving method, collaborative skills. So it's no longer about teamwork. We've gone a bit step beyond that. We are not like, okay, we'll both share the workload. Sorry, that's not enough. We are talking about creating something new. We are talking about higher aptitude for problem solving. Right? So problem solving is not sufficient. You are in a world where we don't know what tomorrow will hold. If you will have seen, a lot of you would have seen businesses and your family members, people close to you, your seniors who have been into industry in last 2 years has been everyday new contingency plan. We plan today for next 1 week. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 days. Now, that's the kind of an aptitude, adaptability, Ayushi, spot on. And that's the kind of aptitude that the corporate is looking for, ability to solve problem on real-time basis. Right. So this is the new term. I'm not sure if anyone here has heard of it, but this is the new term that the corporate nowadays uses. They are looking for T professionals. Now, what T professionals means is what they are looking for, someone who's a broad general understanding of various disciplines. So you can't just be a specialist, right? That will not do, because even if I'm into, let's say, training, I need to know exactly what the business is doing. I need to know how the finance is working. I need to have an overall understanding of the entire format and in-depth understanding of specialization. So I have to be the master of my domain, and I have to know exactly how the rest of the business works. So in fact, domains like HR, which were used to be looked at as support functions in the past, are no longer called support functions. They are strategic partners, right? So people management, running the business, strategy, and everything is a part of what we say a combined cohort. And that's what is broad general understanding that they're looking for. Social skills, life skills, knowledge skills. This is the skill set for a T professional, and knowledge and experience. So nowadays, if I walk into an organization and say, I'm a fresher, what they're looking forward is not that I need to, we have no, you can't have 3 years of work without ever getting your first job, but what projects, what real-time work you've built. And that's where management courses come in. That's how an MBA course is different from regular courses, and or any professional course which is built on preparing you for corporate is different from a general course, because and you will see a lot of your traditional courses are also building in projects, industry interaction, industry visits, because corporates are saying you're maybe a fresher in full-time job, but what have you done so far to be with the industry, to know what my industry does? So they're looking for a social knowledge and life skills and knowledge and experience. So as a fresher, I can't say I have zero experience. I have to have projects. I have to have live projects. I have to have visited and interned with some company during my course of the study. So subject knowledge along with practical knowledge is what a tea professional is looking for, and the ability to adapt to the corporate lifestyle, right? So this is what the companies are now looking for. And there was a very interesting word someone in the chat had written for a little while ago. And that's the key word in India right now, across the world, by the way, but in India in particular, entrepreneurial spirit. And I guess Shark Tank has kind of made it the buzzword now. All of you would have been seeing the telecast of it. And thanks to Shark Tank, I guess without even doing MBA, a lot of people are now aware what is an equity and, what is a percentage share. I have to fight for my equity, all of that thing. So what the companies are looking for is individuals who work with them, but they have an entrepreneurial mindset. Everyone doesn't need to go and start a business, right? Thank you, Jyoti. You agree with me. So everyone doesn't need to go and start their own business. I can be a part of an organization. The question is, what new, idea am I driving? So now it's no longer about the hierarchy. It's all about what value I bring to the table, right? So what is it that what new ideas can I bring in? So corporates are looking for new blood to walk in and change the way they're working, change the products they're creating, create and identify the new requirement. And that's where you come in, right? And being ready for that is what is important. So how many of you heard of this phrase, VUCA world? It has been made very popular. If you've had guest lectures, a lot of guest lectures would have spoken about it, especially if they come from industry, right? And people have kind of started forgetting it. But 2020, 18th March kind of just reminded everybody overnight in India, okay, this is what we are dealing with. So VUCA was, okay, I'll give you a quick background to it. VUCA was created by US, this was a phrase created by US Army after the Soviet Union broke down. So till then it was a Cold War. There were very clear enemy, USSR is the enemy. We have to save ourselves from this, two extreme powers. Once USSR broke down, suddenly everyone was an enemy. You don't really know where to look for. So things became very volatile, very uncertain, complex, and not very clear. And this is exactly what business faced in 2020. By the way, that was pandemic overnight. But before that also, with the new technology and something like the IoT, Internet of Things coming in, the digital, somebody had written a while back, quite a few of you have written digital technology. So what organizations are looking for? Individuals with vision. So be ready for a question. What value can you add? Where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? What do you understand about your industry? Right in the interview, in the very first job, they're going to be asking you these questions. They're looking for what vision do you have? They're looking for your understanding of the business, of the situation, of clarity of what your role, what you will bring to the table, and your flexibility to change. Because tomorrow the business world will change, and will you be stuck? Will you change? Right? So this is what the organizations are looking for. So entrepreneurship is not a job, it's a mindset. So what they are looking for, somebody with a VUCA mindset, with a vision and understanding, clarity and agility. And that kind of person is what the corporates need desperately right now. So when they say employability, it's not that people don't know technical skills. They don't know technical skills. What they don't have is entrepreneurship mindset. And that's why you'll see a lot of management courses have started introducing entrepreneurship as a course outline, as a course, right? And this is where it's very interesting to see. I may be working in HR, I may be working in language, I may be working in social service, I may be working in CSR, any domain of the organization. I need to know how the business works. And I need to know what my domain, my role, my department contributes to the business, right? It's no longer a 9 to 5. It's now, I may work 9 to 4, I may work 10 to 3, but what I'm bringing to the table, it's a value-based contribution organizations are counting for. So what has changed, friends, is before 2000, in last 1 year alone, I believe everyone knows what's a unicorn startup, right? Any startup that goes beyond $1 billion. In 1 year alone, we've got 37 unicorn startups coming out of India, where in the last 10 years, the number was 36. So things have changed drastically in the last year, right? And that's the change world you're getting in. And when we are talking about that change world, this is the skill set in the post-COVID era companies are looking for. And you will see some of the skill set has stayed the same, but a lot has changed. ability to navigate the challenges of tech disruption is the simple statement, right? So my being specialist on my work doesn't work alone. I need to know how the business functions. I need to know what is the latest in the industry, the technology. Strong communication skills is the key because it's a people business now. It's no longer the object business. Innovation, versatile skill set, strategic thinking. So these are all the skills that they're now looking forward to. Some you can see are the same, some have changed. So what we're going to do is we're going to check how ready you are on this skill set. We're going to do a small exercise and we're going to check how ready you are on this small skill set, right? So can I get a quick thumbs up here from everyone who's ready for this next activity? You've very patiently listened to me for the last couple of minutes. Hats off to you. And a lot of you with cameras on are smiling. So amazing. So let's see how many of you are ready for this activity to check how many of are ready for the importance. Okay, awesome. Great. So ladies, here is the question. You will have 2 minutes, exactly 2 minutes by my watch, to complete the following test of mental agility, read all the instructions, and write your responses in the chat, right? There'll be a set of 20 instructions, right? So here we go. And your 2 minutes start now. And your 2 minutes start now. Go ahead. Responses in the chat. Awesome. We started to get responses in the chat. Let's see. So the fastest record to complete this entire activity has been about a minute. Let's see how many of you are able to break that, or at least close it to 2 minutes. Let's see. Okay. People have come to numbers also. Amazing. Great. Okay. Favorite color: pink, blue, black, purple. Okay. Oh, lavender. That's a nice color. Something different. Usually very common colors come in. Great. So I guess by far India is the most favorite cricket team. I can see that. Nice smileys, Ashna. Great. Okay. So got 1 minute left. Okay. So you're getting into IPL as well. Amazing. Well, awesome. People have started catching up. Amazing. Let's see. 4 vowels. Okay. So we have come pretty down in the list. 15 seconds. I said 15 seconds. People have started giving up. Come on. You can do it. Okay. Do you want me to give you a couple of more, say, 1 more minute? A quick yes or no? Okay. Let's stop. Ah, nice. Yes is coming in quickly. Okay, let's stop this activity. Okay, I have. Wow. Rashi have reached till I have. That's amazing. Sakshi and Rashi have reached up to, I have amazing. That's really fast.
I'm waiting for your answer. I'm just waiting for your input.
Right. So awesome. So here it is. Do you all remember the instructions there? What did it say? Read the instructions carefully before you start, right? So I'm going to take the attention of all the amazing people in this room today to instruction number last. The last sentence, read that. So smiles are telling me the realization has hit home. Right. So here's my question. What do you get? What's the learning do you get from this activity? I hope you all had fun, but what's the learning that we get out of it? Write in the chat, you got 30 seconds for that. What's the learning that you get out of it? Instructions are important, okay? That's good, Ria. What else? Be attentive. Read the task completely first. Instant reaction. Thank you, Mehak. Read the question paper thoroughly before attempting it. Okay, Tanya is remembering the school instructions, school days. Okay. So I think the best definition has been, by Prakriti first see things as whole, and by Mehak instant reaction. Absolutely. So see, what we're talking about here is the most important skills that you're going to need in today's world of where things are changing so quickly is to be proactive. That's what you're going to need. All the skill set, the tea professional, becoming a tea professional is something that is in your hands, right? The question is not what's going to happen tomorrow. The question is what you're going to do today to reach the tomorrow you want, to be the kind of employee, or I'll say the kind of entrepreneur the companies are looking forward to get on board in their system and refreshing that up. The question is, what are you going to do today? And when we talk about proactivity, what it means for me is my life and career is a product of values, not feelings, decisions, not conditions, and actions, not situations. Right? So we are talking about developing a mindset, like I said, which will lead to developing the skill set of Industry 4.0. The first thing you need to change is the mindset. It's not going to happen that you're going to walk in the company and then they will train you. They may train you technically for the job. What they require from you are things that will make you ready to be trained instantly. So 6 skills, this is the last thing I'll leave you here with. 6 skills that can help you become industry ready in 2022, friends. The first thing is develop effective interpersonal communication. Enhance your communication skills. Learn about strategic planning and thinking. Practice problem solving and decision making. Develop a global mindset. Don't remain, it's not the time when what I see is enough. We are in a world where people are sitting in India while the clients are across the world. We are in a place where people are sitting in India and studying from abroad. So we're talking about a global mindset. Right, your competition is no longer within the couple of thousand kilometers of this country on this Indian peninsula. Your competition is across the world. It can come up from anywhere across the world, right? So you have to look forward to developing a global mindset and master technical and business skills, and that's what has changed. Initially, I think around 6 to 7 years back, being really good at what I do in my specialization was good enough. Now the company wants me to be good in what I do, but also understands business. And that's why, getting a know-how on the business, the pulse on the business, how does the finance work? How does the HR work? How do they collaborate together? What is the strategy? All of these things become extremely critical, no matter what role you are going to get. Whether you're starting your own business, there are a lot of entrepreneurs who leave their, after a couple of years, they go back and complete their MBA and then come back and start a new startup. You will see a lot of stories coming up like that, right? People who work for a couple of years realize they need to go and do an MBA. So what the corporates are looking for are people who already have the skill set so that they can help them start at a higher level and get results instantly. So it's no longer like, okay, I'm going to train you, I'm going to watch over you, and then you're going to work around and give the results. They want you performing ASAP. The world's changing too fast. They don't have the time to wait for you to move ahead, to catch up. They want you to be already caught up, right? So that's where they're looking at. So tomorrow is already in the past. They're talking about what can you do in the present. So this is what we are talking about when we say Industry 4.0 and being industry ready as a skill set. So I hope that I've been able to give you a certain perspective on how things have changed in the last couple of years. It has been changing, like I said, for the last 6 to 7 years. In the last decade, things have slowly been changing. But unfortunately, in the last 2 years, I'll say fortunately, in the last 2 years, things have just zoomed up, right? It has just zapped up. The changes become, we are 10 years ahead of time. We are today where we would have been had pandemic not happened 10 years down the line as far as technological advances are concerned. And it's not going to slow down. It's only going to speed up. The question is, are you ready? Right. So at that point, I wish you all the very best in your careers, whichever field you go ahead and decide to make a contribution in and make a name for yourself. And I hope whatever we discussed today did add value and gave you a perspective. And that was the objective of my meeting you today, to help you build a perspective around that and help you identify what are the skill set and what are the courses that can help you with the skill set. So at this point, that's all from my side. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat and I'll be more than happy to answer. And if you have any comments, I'll be more than happy to hear them as well. So Rosie, at this point, would like to know if someone from some faculty from DSP will be taking over here. Hello? Right. Sure. So yeah, Rosie, anyone here
I'm
who will
so
be
sorry, ma'am. There was a technical issue. I'm really very sorry I couldn't answer you. Well, yes, it's an open state. Like anybody who has a question, please shoot out the questions. And apart from that, ma'am, if you want to join, like if you want to add anything, it's absolutely fine with us. And it's a treat to hear. I always enjoy your. I don't know what to say. I'm out of my words. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. It really
welcome.
means a lot. Over to all the students. If you have any questions, please. The time
Yeah.
starts now.
The first thing you have to learn in the industry 4.0 is always have questions. By the way, in the interview, now they're going to ask you a very important question at the end of it. Do you have any questions? Right? Very informative, interactive sessions. Thank you, Sarika. So if I'm not, had I been able to raise any curiosity over something, Anshalika says, for example, I'm doing a BCom. How can I keep up with the tech world? And when you say tech skills, what do you refer to? Okay, when I say tech skills, Anshalika, like you are doing BCom, I'm assuming it will be more towards the finance bent of mind, right? So something like an MBA finance will be something really, really useful. And while you're doing that, courses on financial modeling. Now, this is as far as establishing your technical know-how is concerned. When it comes to tech, we are talking about looking at learning data analysis. We are talking about learning how to deal with big data. We are talking about understanding fintech, and you can go online. You will have a lot of material on fintech, which will give you a perspective of what is the latest technology in the market, right? And one thing which I can tell you is when you get into an MBA college, like an organization like DSP, where we have faculty from some of the best industries who've been in the industry, they can give you a perspective on fintech. They can give you projects on fintech where you use data analysis, understand the corporates, study and compare exactly what's happening. And you can get internship in those kind of domains. What it does is it gets you really ready when you're sitting across the table and you're already there. So the company knows that they have to train you for the particular job, but you know how the industry works. So I hope, Sarika, I've been able to answer your question. I can give you certain guideposts. The search you will have to do on your own beyond that. So how to develop these skills? Like I said, you have to look at two domains of it. Technology is not the only thing. All of you have to pick up, like she's doing BCom. If finance is the core, pick up all the extra certifications in finance, right? It's no longer I can say I'm a BCom and MBA. I have to have stand out from the crowd. That's the question. What's unique about me, right? Anjali is okay, Anjali, I think you're giving your attendance here. Whosoever needs to take it can do that. Pragati says, what are the qualities required to get an IIM? Okay, what is required is clearing the CATs to get in the IIM, right? And what they require is a really high level, I won't say high level, but a really smooth level of your ability to clear an aptitude. And by the way, aptitude will not be required only for CAT, maths, that. It will also be required once you get into corporates. So once you get post MBA into corporates, a lot of companies, irrespective of whether you're in HR, you go into finance, particularly in finance and sales, but in HR and digital as well, you will have to go through aptitude tests, right? And you will have to go through psychometric tests. So answering your questions more specifically, what quality is required to get into an IIM? Extremely good in aptitude, a really good understanding of why you want to do an MBA, a very clear picture of, when we talk about MBA, a very clear picture of what domain you want to get in and how will you contribute in that domain. So these are, and of course, communication skills, needless to say, goes into that. So these are some of the skills, aptitude, and they will check in your written and communication, understanding of the business. Why MBA is going to be a very critical question for you if you're appearing for CAT. By the way, for that, any MBA college you will sit for, gone are the days when they were happy to let you in. Now, the first question they ask, why MBA? Because the corporates that come to campuses have very specific requirements now, right? So it's no longer like I do an MBA, I'll get a job. I need to do an MBA into a specific domain where I want to specialize. And MBA is going to give me an entire specialization and a perspective on the entire domain. And that's where you will see, for example, in DSP, they have digital data analysis as a course. They have entrepreneurship and a lot of other very unique courses. And similarly, a lot of other colleges also have a lot of new courses. Entrepreneurship is something which IIMs have big time these days. So this is what they are going to be looking for. And yes, for IIM, if you have WorkX, that really works. especially for IIM Bangalore and Calcutta. If you have some work with you, that will really, really help, right? Yes, if we are doing graduation courses, then what can we add? Should we go along with it, build these skills? So Aishi, I think I answered your question. Whatever graduation course you're doing, absolutely fine. Like for BCom, I gave you examples. Pick up this. What do you see? If I do a BA honors, I'm doing specialization in a particular subject. Like I have literature. I was a literature student. I was a BA English honors from University of Delhi, Shivaji College, and then I did my master's in English literature from Hansraj. And then after being into and then I got into communication. Literature was my specialization, and then I did my diploma in training and development from ISTD. That kind of gave me further super specialization into training and development. Then I have done certifications in that domain into specific kind of trainings, right? So you will have to gradually get into super specialization, but you have to keep your eyes and ears open for everything out there. So Aisha, you'll have to look for what is the course that you're doing, why are you doing that course, what is the domain you want to build a career in, and see from your campus or from your university, everyone with that degree will be at the same level as you. The only thing will be certain percentage up and down. The question is, what are the other courses, the additional courses that you can do, which will make your resume stand out? Right? And that I say even to the MBA students, everyone from that campus is an MBA from DSP, right? The question is what makes your resume stand out? So that's where the extra qualification comes in. So you need to keep on doing extra courses. Coursera is brilliant. You can do a lot of courses otherwise as well, part-time courses, which will really help you out. Jyoti, right? CAT score Pragati. I am not really clear, Jyoti, what you mean by that. I think the question is for Pragati, so I'll skip that. Thank you, ma'am. How to get into top B schools for executive MBA. Okay, so prepare for your aptitude. Whether you do CAT, MAT, ZAT, anything, you'll have to go for aptitude. But if you're going for colleges like IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, ISB, you'll have to have WorkX. That's what they prefer these days. At least 2 to 3 years of WorkX, right? But in other colleges where the WorkX is not required, what you really need is a very high score in CAT and a very clear understanding of why MBA. That's very important. See, as far as their communication is concerned, which unfortunately people think is an ability to speak in English, which my experience as a Delhi University student has been, we don't have that challenge. But if our public speaking, we don't have that challenge. We do it enough. You know, our university makes us do enough of that on a daily basis. But even if that is there, the campuses, MBA courses do give you a training on that as well. Business communication is a part of it. Now, what changes is the kind of communication we do in daily routine is very different from business communication. So when you do an MBA, they train you on, not just simply on how to write an email, but how do you create a communication strategy? How do you communicate in crisis, right? How do you communicate in multiple scenarios with, let's say, a very critical client, right? So there we are going in a very specialized domain of communication. So that's, for example, that's my specialization. So when we are looking at, when you say, how can I get into top schools? Extensively good communication skills. And I don't mean only English, I mean ability to express yourself. That's what I'm talking about here. Confidence, clarity on why MBA, and a very good CAT, MAT, and ZAT score. Right? So, or GMAT score, right? You will have to get into that particular thing. What are the courses we can do after undergrad except masters in the field of business? Sachita, that is a very, very subjective question that will depend on what specialization you want to get into. Right? So if you want to get into corporates and you want to get into something where you're going to be participative into the business format, MBA will be really good. You want to get into, for example, I wanted to get into communication, so I ended up completing my master's in English. Then I went ahead and did my certification from Symbiosis Pune in business communication, and then I went ahead and did TND. So you have to pick up what specialization you want to really do, right? And that specialization, then you pick up those courses. So business, masters in business gives you a whole picture of why business works, how business works. So even if I am a designer in a big designing firm, right, I get into designing, I need to know what sells, what doesn't sell, how will it not sell, and that will impact my strategy of what design comes next, right? So we no longer can say that I'm a creative person and I'll live in my cocoon. Unfortunately, those days are over. Right. So if I'm creative, but I'm not helping the business is going to wash their hands off. And unfortunately, if I'm not contributing to the bottom line, I am not of much use to my organization. Right. So that's where business comes in. But to answer a question, Sachita, to be more specific to your question, pick up what is it that you want to build your career in, that field, and start with the first step of specialization. And then keep on super specializing in that. So experience plus super specialization is the best combination that you can build for yourself. Suppose someone got 70 percentile in CAT, wants to drop and try again and get into any other business school. Jyoti, that's again a very subjective question, though my experience says do not waste your year. Things are changing very fast. I always recommend students get into a college, right? So 70 turning into a 96, 98, 99. Unfortunately, the chances are very less. But 70 going down, chances are, it's a 50-50 chance. 70 going up, 70 going down. So if I have a 70, the question is what best can I get in that? So my recommendation would be don't waste your year, get straight into a campus. What you can rather do, in case you don't get into the college of your choice and you get into some other campus, you were eyeing for an IIM, you unfortunately had a 70. So that doesn't mean the end of the world, by the way, right? And let me just tell you, if you look at the top-notch honchos, very few of them are from IIMs. The CEOs and CFOs, very few of them are from IIMs. Let me just tell you that they may have their own companies, but most of so see, I'll tell you what happens with an MBA college. Your MBA college only helps you in getting into the campus, into the corporate. The kind of profile you will get, the package you will get. Once you are in the company, you are an IIM or you are an XYZ, doesn't matter. What matters is what you're contributing. Nowadays, even the age doesn't matter. The person who will have more contribution will get promoted, not the one with more experience, right? So I recommend, rather than letting that year off, I won't say wasting, that's going to be your choice, but letting that year off again in repetitive preparation, use that time in understanding business and instead do multiple internships in that 1 year while you're doing your MBA from in campus. That will make your resume really valuable for any company, right? And most of tier A campuses have DSB, I know for one, BIT, I know for one, a lot of other campuses in Delhi NCR that I talk to students about is, I know, so all of these campuses, have some really good brands coming in. So nowadays, by the way, brands don't look for, I'm going to go only for this kind of campuses. They're looking for, where am I getting good alumni from, right? So, and they're going to be walking in. So you need to look at the alumni base of a campus. You need to look at the kind of brands that are coming to the campus, and you need to look at the kind of job profiles that are coming to the campus. And if that matches your expectations, I'll recommend pick up that campus. And of course, the faculty profile. That's also equally important. Right? Don't go for only for PhD faculty. Go for faculty who has been in the industry. That's going to give you a totally different perspective, right? So that will be really, really important. For example, DSB, I know, has a lot of faculty who come from industry. So they, when you're sitting in a campus in a class with someone who's worked in the company for a decade or more, that guy will tell you a totally different understanding of a business definition or a 4P implementation of marketing than someone who's only ever taught it, right? So go for the quality of experience the faculty brings, go for the kind of alumni they have, go for the kind of placements they have. And I say placement, please don't look at the packages only, look at the brands and the job profiles, right? That's very critical. If you have got a bigger organization coming in, for example, Oracle, you're talking about Samsung, you're talking about some, I can't remember a lot of names here, but you can go to the college's websites, whichever you're considering, look at the profiles of the companies that visit, and that will give you a huge, clear clarity on whether you should go in or not. Another thing which I'll recommend is connect with the alumni on LinkedIn, right? So any campuses that you're considering, connect with the alumni on LinkedIn. Right. So so especially the alumni who've been into the kind of domain and business that you want to get in, and connect with them, chat with them, get a perspective, and they can give you a very neutral, real life perspective of that campus, right? So that I'll highly recommend. CFA good after MBA in finance? Absolutely, Tara. CFA will be good for finance at any time, and MBA after that, if you do CFA, will be really, really good. And for finance students, I'll recommend that MBA finance is a huge place to start. But always keep on adding your qualifications because you're competing with CAs. Please understand, right? And I've worked. Whenever I talk to HRs, they say that hiring somebody who's a CA has 3 to 4 years of exclusive finance understanding. right? And then getting somebody MBA finance, BCom MBA finance will have vis-a-vis 6 months of specialization. So you need to keep on doing other specialization along with that. But what an MBA finance makes you stand out is your understanding of business. That you may be specializing in finance, but you know exactly how business works. So you will no longer be just an accounting guy, you will be a finance guy. And that's where the real difference comes in. So to become a CFO, by the way, you will need an MBA eventually, right? So might as well do it in advance in case that is what you're planning to do. And CFA, of course, will help you out that. So I believe I have covered up most all the questions there. Anything else, feel free. And I wish you guys all the very best. It was really interactive, and I hope I've been able to answer your questions to your satisfaction. Rosie, over to you. Thank you, Aishi. Thank you, Anushka. Thanks, Mehak. It's, yeah, Rosie.
Thank you so much, ma'am. What a evening, I would say. Thanks a lot. It's just a pleasure to have you. It's an honor to have you, ma'am. Thank you for all your time. I know you're busy. I know about your schedules, and then taking this 1 hour, it's just I don't know what to say. It's like a blessing to all of you guys, because it doesn't matter where you're standing. What matters is how you perform, and that's what ma'am has told you. No matter what you choose, but you should do the better and best in it. And I know as you get into practice, as you get into corporate sector, as you opt for a wonderful 2 years in any of the colleges, or wherever you feel like, definitely give your best. That's what will make you, to shine, like what Richa ma'am is doing right now. And how many courses you have done, ma'am? I was just counting. I thought of putting on a note, but my pages are all filled. I can show you. See, my pages are all filled, and I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. It really motivates. It really motivates me, and I believe, guys, you have enjoyed thoroughly. So, have wonderful evening, guys. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for all your questions. That really makes us feel like you heard us. Actually, you heard us. So thanks a lot. It's just like I feel honored that I'm between like ma'am and then all of you. You guys make us proud. So thank you for all this proud moment. Thank you for this evening. And ma'am, hats off to you for sure. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Rosie. Thanks for this
Thank you for the
opportunity. And I
yeah.
wish all the best to everyone. Have a wonderful evening and
Yes.
time to seriously think through what the new industry wants from you. And I'm sure you
Yes.
guys will do great.
Yeah, the industry is all geared up. So pull your socks, guys, and just, make a right decision. That's what we would tell you as per to our experience or to ma'am's experience. I would say that. And I would like to thank all of you guys, and especially Rashi and Sejal, for making this possible, for inviting you guys. It's just like a treat, I will definitely tell you. So always remember, choose the right and just bring your best. Bring your best out. Thank you for the DSB's team, and thank you, ma'am, once again. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful evening, guys. Goodbye. Take care.
Bye bye. Thanks.